Hey y'all, welcome to Sundays in Chef Charlie's Kitchen. In this skillet right now we have finely diced onions, bell pepper, and garlic. That's going to be the basis for a lot of things because that to me equals flavor, that combination. Alright, got a little treat for us tonight. Let me show y'all some of my ingredients. Main ingredient, lump crab meat. Okay, we got a lemon, onion, which is already in, some scallion, some kale. What are we doing with all of this, y'all? We are making crab kale quiche. And no, I did not do that on purpose. I chose the ingredients kind of randomly. The idea to make quiche actually came from my first lady of Faithful Gospel Baptist Church. Shout out to First. So we were talking and she said she had made quiche, and I was like, yeah, I should make quiche. I haven't made it in a while, and my mom makes really good quiche too, so I was like, yeah, I think I will. So I looked up a recipe for crab quiche, and it's just a plain crab quiche, but I wanted to add some type of green vegetable to it and give it a little bit more variety, so I chose kale. What I'm not about to do is bust this bag all over the place. Just scooping it up. This is already washed and ready to use kale. So I'm gonna take it. It's already it comes kind of shredded like that, but I'm gonna cut it up a little bit more. Give it a few more chops and put it in with my onions and garlic. A little smaller because this will be in a pie, so you don't want like no big chunks of like this right here. You don't want to bite down on that inside your pie unless it's really tender. But we're going to do a really quick saute on this stuff, and then once we put the quiches in the oven, that's when everything will really fully cook and come together. So you don't really want any big pieces or stems left inside. I mean, maybe the little ones are okay, but, use your own judgment. Anyway, so you'll just take it and give it a few more chops. Y'all, I'm loving this new angle on my camera. It's a little rig that I got going on here, but I'm using my seasoning bottles to hold my phone up right now at this angle, and I'm liking this angle right now, so I'm gonna keep using it for a while. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this one, because I usually have to move the camera a lot to show y'all what I'm doing, so I think that y'all probably want to see more what I'm doing than my face, but you'll see my face sometimes when I'm at the pot. But I want y'all to be able to get a good clear view of what I'm doing on my board. So I'm going to cut my scallions now. I'm going to zest my lemon, but my lemon is going to go in later. I'm also thinking about making like a sauce. Just a fine chop like that. And this is going to be more for garnish. I'm going to use the scallions for garnish, but I'm put a little bit in the pan. Okay. So the recipe calls for us a pound of crab meat, so I got two 8-ounce containers of crab meat, and I got a deep dish package, a deep dish pie crust. I'm thinking that I'll only use one of those pie crusts, so the other pie crust I want to use and make another quiche or another meat pie, if you will, with leftovers. So can you guess which leftover I'm gonna use to make this other quiche? I'm gonna use a lot more kale, y'all. Or maybe like another handful. All right. But I'm going to use, y'all clock timed out, so I'm going to tell you. I'm going to use the chicken dip leftovers, because y'all know I'm so serious about not sleeping on these leftovers, right? So I was just thinking, because I have broccoli, so I was just thinking I should probably chop up some broccoli and mix it in and make a chicken broccoli quiche, you know, and it'll have like the dip already has cheese and everything like that, so I wouldn't have to add cheese. You know, and I'm just gonna mess with it. I'm gonna play with it and see how it comes out. But like I said, y'all, I'm serious about my leftovers, and I had a little bit of that chicken dip left, and I froze it, and I'm thinking we can try something. And I always end up liking the leftovers, the thing that I make with leftovers, more than the fresh thing, right? This is also a 2-in-1 meal idea, guys. I'm big on that, you know. So I feel like that's enough kale, because I want the crab to shine through, but I still want to add like that green, you know, veggie, leafy green. Some people will probably use spinach. Spinach is it just cooks so fast and it releases a lot of water, so it'll kind of make the egg mixture for the quiche, it'll make it kind of watery and it won't set well, so that's why I didn't choose spinach. Kale is a lot more sturdy, and I'm pre-cooking it so that way any water that it does have, it'll already be released. I think Cooper might be waking up. Coop's down for a nap, but I think I just heard him. But anywho, I'm cooking this on medium low, y'all. I'm cooking it on slow. Not really trying to get a lot of color on it. Big surprise, I know, because I'm always trying to get that caramelization. But for this, I'm not really trying to get color. That's not really my goal, because I don't want to change the color of the pie. The color of the pie should be kind of light, you know. Alright, but I'm going to let this cook, y'all. I'm going to put a lid over it, and then I'm going to open up the crab meat. The canned crab meat. And, you know, want to go through the crab meat, any type of crab meat that you buy that's still, you know, it may still have some, hold on. Okay, I think it's back. Hi, y'all. My phone started having a little bit of issues. It slipped down off of my... Oh, yes, there's the baby. Coop just woke up. Hey, little boy. How are you? How was your nap? Mommy's making dinner. Mommy's making dinner. Kisses? Kisses. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up my crab meat and see what we got in there. I actually need to put my hair up. There's a scrunchie around here somewhere. Put my hair up, y'all. Totally. Now we're back in business. But I'm liking the way this is looking. Let's get the crab opened up, y'all. Yes, baby. Yes. What's wrong? What's wrong? You want a snack? Want some juice? You want a snack? What you want, yogurt? You want cheese? You want crackers? Oh look, you got your, I think you got some animal crackers. Oh look. Want these? No? You want these? Look. You want these? That's the last one.
That's okay, babe.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Alright, take it out the box. Smells amazing, y'all. Like really, really good. Hold on, I'll open it for you. Here, go have a seat in the front room. You want juice? Okay. Gotta make him some juice. The baby wants juice. Alright guys, I'm back. Now, crab meat. That's where we're at. Crab meat. How long is this video so far? 15 minutes, going on 15 minutes, y'all. Just want to show y'all what it looks like. That's what the crab meat looks like. You just want to dump it. I just dump mine in a bowl. And I go through it with my fingers. Just checking to make sure there's no cartilage or shells or anything in there. And I usually find a few, not many, but see, sometimes you find little pieces of crab shell and cartilage in there. So that's why you want to go through it, because that doesn't taste good when your food is finished. Alright, I want to tell y'all about the rest of the ingredients. The cheese that we're going to use, I'm really excited about. So the recipe called for gruyere cheese. So I went to the store and I got some gruyere cheese, but I also had cheddar and asadero cheese mix, and I want to add that to it as well. So I'm really excited. I'm picking out a few more pieces of this shell in here. This usually doesn't have a lot, especially in the lump crab meat. It doesn't have a lot, but it'll, you know, it's still always really good to check. Okay. Can number 2. Where's my knife? Where's my knife? I'm starting to see a little bit of color on this, so I'm turning it all the way low. I still kind of want to dry it out without necessarily browning it, so I'm turning it all the way low. Because I want to also make sure that the kale is not too hard, so I do want to cook it so that way it's not too hard, because overall it's a softer textured dish. So I'm adding kale to it, so I don't want it to cause any disturbances, you understand? Okay? So that's my I'll use my larger bowl to actually mix the crab up. My larger bowl to mix the crab up. I'm done with the kale, so I'm going to put the kale away. It's in my way anyway. Put the kale away because it's in my way anyway. Alright. Let's make some counter spoons. Go through and my usual rule of thumb for going through your crab meat is don't stop until you find at least one piece, because it's in there. Just know it's in there. Like, always just have that in mind. Like, there's no can of crab meat that doesn't have a shell in it. So if you think like that, then it's going to make you be very thorough about checking it, you know, so that way it's enjoyable down to the very last bite. Because I love a lot of crab dishes, and I really do hate when I bite down on shell. So, I found some cartilage. And, look, see? I said don't stop until you find one. That was our first one, and it was looking real like I wasn't going to find it. See how small it is? But even that can cause a disturbance in somebody's meal, and you don't want that. So obviously I'm making this for myself, but I don't want to taste that either. And I have checked it and thoroughly and still tasted a shell before. So that's not uncommon to happen, but you still just want to, you know, check again. Check 1 2 1 2. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, because Any more cooking that I'm gonna want, I want it to finish inside of the quiche. Plus, I want this to have time to cool before I add it to the egg mixture. So, take it off of the heat. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I just put it on like a little lid I had and spread it out thin and let it cool, because once we mix the crab and the egg, we're going to add this in last and then pour it directly into our pie shells. Speaking of pie shells, let me show y'all how I want to treat those. Actually, I could even sit this in the fridge, which I think that's what I'm going to do, because this is really a fast process. The prep is really not the most of the time is spent in the oven. Prep is really quick. So I'll just put this in the fridge so it can start cooling. Cheese. Okay, let's do my cheese. My cheese. That's not it. Where's my... I'm looking for gruyere. My gruyere cheese. Gruyere cheese. Oh, here it is. Boom, 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 boom. So, these are the rest of our ingredients. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I got, so before I saw the recipe said Gruyere, I had got these two for the quiche. But I love a four cheese anything all the time. I love four cheese. So even if I don't end up using this in the quiche, I'm gonna use it in something else. This is like my main cheese. This is my main cheese, like my main squeeze. Ooh. Okay, but I'm excited about using this. This looks really interesting and delicious. So I'm definitely going to add this in addition to the Gruyere in the quiche. Okay, yeah. Okay, our eggs. Got a big carton of eggs. The recipe says 4 large eggs. And these are large eggs, so 4 large eggs. These large eggs look really small, but 4 large eggs. I might do 5. Let me just see what it looks like, and then I'll decide if I want to add more. 1 more egg. Yeah. Okay. So crab meat's ready. Oh yes, and Grey Poupon mustard. So the recipe does not call for Grey Poupon mustard, but I make my crab cakes with these, and I like the way it makes the crab taste. So I want that same tanginess that the Dijon offers. I want that same tanginess in this pie. So I made an addition of Grey Poupon mustard. Woo woo. Some people use regular yellow mustard, which it does add a tang, but this is a more of a mild tang. And because crab is so mild, I don't want to overpower it with yellow mustard. You could and just use a very little bit, but I like this with crab. It's not as strong. Alright, so let's see here. I'm going to start off with just a couple tablespoons of the Grey Poupon mustard. Oh wait, guys. I gotta get my pie crust out. I forgot. Oh, my oven is already preheated to. My oven is already preheated to 350 degrees. So these should be sitting out, getting kind of room temperature, and I'm gonna. And once they get room temperature, you actually have to treat them and pre-bake them or par-bake them. So I'm gonna just sit these over on my table and let them start to get a little soft. Okay, so I got my mustard in. I'm breaking my eggs in a separate bowl. This is where you want to add your seasoning. Anything that requires a liquid ingredients and it requires seasoning, you always want to add your seasoning to the liquid because the liquid is going to be more well distributed around whatever it is that you're making as opposed to just putting dry seasoning in it. It'll get stuck on a piece of crab meat, and then one of the pieces of crab meat will be like more salty or whatever than the rest of the recipe. So I like to add my seasoning to my eggs or whatever liquid is in there. I also add a half of a teaspoon of mustard to my egg to stabilize it. Okay, mix that in. So as far as seasonings, this one and nope, where is it? Okay, I'll use this one. Y'all, I didn't even put no vegetable magic on my kale. Why didn't y'all remind me? So that's parsley. Okay. This is sweet basil and tarragon. Okay, just mixing that in. So far in this bowl, 4 eggs, a half a teaspoon of Grey Poupon Dijon mustard, and seasoning is parsley or herbs and spices, parsley, sweet basil, tarragon, and seafood magic. Some people will use Old Bay, some people will use Tony Satchera, some people will use different Cajun spices, and if I had that, I actually do have Tony Satchera somewhere around here, but for whatever reason it's not popping out at me. It's not popping out at me right now, but I'm fine with using the seafood magic for it. Now I'm seasoning these eggs as if I'm seasoning this whole pie, y'all. Alright? This is going to be well distributed throughout the whole thing. Okay. Did I show y'all the gruyere cheese? Yeah. I don't know if I showed it to you, but yeah, so I got a little block of gruyere cheese as well that I'll be shredding into the mixture. So let's get the cheese open. would say that was about a half a cup of the cheddar and asadero cheese. Gonna shave off some of the gruyere cheese. I would say a half a cup of each. So get a little zester. This is a zester. I could probably use a shredder, but I like it comes out kind of thin. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me pull the bowl up a little bit so y'all can see. I like the way that comes out nice and fine. Okay. And to make this easier on myself, because I don't plan to use the whole block of this cheese, I'm going to cut off what I am going to use. And so that'll make it easier on myself. Just put it down over the bowl and go like this. Okay. So grate that cheese in there. I have the rest of my green onions right here, so I'm going to put in some lemon zest, some more scallions or green onions, whichever one, it's the same thing. And I gotta actually poke my pie crust. So let me show y'all that, and then I can finish that. So you take a fork. This is the fork that I use to mix my egg. And you just kind of